Hi guys, in this video we are going to look about perfect hashing, which is also known as ideal hashing. Even though we consider the perfect hashing and the ideal hashing are the same, they have a tiny difference between them. The perfect hashing, it maps a finite set of keys into the same number of buckets with no collusion. But when it comes to ideal hashing, it produces output that is indistinguishable from choosing the hash value for every key independently and randomly. To make it more easy, when it comes to perfect hashing, we suggest there should be no collusion, which is actually practically impossible. So that's why we move on to ideal hashing, where we maintain least amount of collusion in the hashing problem. So we can think like the practical version of perfect hashing is ideal hashing. Before we look into perfect hashing or ideal hashing deeply, we just want to look into what is hashing. And by the way, this hashing can be imagined like an encryption where we encode this input to a encrypted output, and where we can only read this encrypted output when we are having this hash function. If we do not have the hash function with us, we cannot retrieve this hash value, actually the output message. Apart from encryption, the hash function has another usage, which is searching. Okay, let's think about the traditional searching methods we have already got. The first one is linear search. Actually, the linear search is searching element by element until we have the desired value. And when it comes to linear search, the worst case time complexity is big O of n, because we are having this n because we have to search until the last element, which is the worst case. Then when we move on to the second search, binary search, the worst case time complexity is big O of log n. But when we are using this hash function, when we are using this hashing, the time complexity, the worst case time complexity is 1. Okay, what does this 1 means? So this 1 means it is going to take a constant time whenever we look into a certain element of it. So this hashing takes a particular time for any of its search. So that's why the hashing is very important when it comes to searching. What is actually happening in this hashing is it's going to compare only one element in the hash table. Hash table is which is we are going to discuss later in this video, and getting the desired element out, while the other two searching method runs over many of its element, which is actually time consuming. Consider an example of hashing, how a hashing is actually done, and let's build it on to the perfect hashing, which is actually the context. Let's say we are having a data set, bat, cat, and dog. So what we are going to do here actually is we are going to encrypt these data to our hashing table. So let's construct our hashing table. let's mark the indexes 1 2 3 4. And secondly, let's map all the letters. Let's map all the English alphabet letters A, B, C, D. Okay, finally, let's give some value. Let's give some value for each and every letters we are having right here. For A, it's going to be 1 2 3 4. So don't mess this index with our value. This value is called the lookup table value or something for a certain letter in English. Okay, next we are going to construct a hashing function, which is actually I introduced in the previous slide. Let's write that hashing function as h of key, hashing function of a certain key, and let's define it. Let's define like this: the lookup table for the first letter plus the lookup table for the second letter and let's modulo division it by 3. So this is our hashing function, which is going this hashing function is going to encrypt our input data into our output. Okay, now we have to find the h key, that means the hashed function of each and every data we have. So let's find it for the BAT. BAT means B-A-T. So the first letter of BAT is B. So we have to find the lookup table for B. B, it's 2. Hash key of BAT. 2 plus A is 1 plus 1 modulo division 3. That means we'll get 0. And when it comes to cat, C it's 3, A it's 1. You're going to modulo division it by 3, so you'll get 1. And for dog, D is 4 plus O is 15. Modulo division 3, that is 19 modulo division 3 is again 1. Okay, now we are having the hashed function. For bat it's 0, for cat it's 1, and dog it's again 1. Okay, so we'll be having only this hashed function as an output. So we are going to store only this 0, 1 and 1. As we can see, for 1 we are having 2 datas. Actually we call this as collusion. We have collusions in this data set. So that's a huge problem right here. So this is the general idea of a hashing. So we'll be having a major difficulty called collusion when we do a normal hash. That's why we invented a certain improved hashing called ideal hashing. In this ideal hashing, the basic property of ideal hashing is there will be no collusions at all. So we are going to neglect this collusion out from our hashing table. Okay, now let's copy that h key, the value of h key right here against all its data 0, 1, 1. But let's try not to duplicate this one again and again. So let's assign 2 for dog. Let's try to assign 2 for dog. So we have to get a 2 right here. So what shall we do? So let's try changing the lookup table value for C. If we change the lookup table value for C, the hash of key for this cat can also change its value to 0. So that can be a problem. So we try our maximum not to change the settled up hash keys, and let's try to change only the hash keys we have trouble, and let's try to change the hash keys where we have the collision. So let's change the dog. And let's change the dog's lookup table value. Okay. Let's try changing this D. We are having 4 for D right here. So let's try to change it. We actually have to get a 2 right here. So we can increase. So actually we have to get a 2 right here. So let's try to increase this value of 4. Let's put it 5. 5 means it's 20. 20 divided by modulo division by 3 is 2. So we can get a 2 for the hash function of dog. So for dog it's 2. So this is our hash function table, hash table. So this is our hash table where we have no duplicates at all, because we use this ideal hashing or perfect hashing when we construct this hash table. So that is the basic property or the advantage of ideal hashing, which is no collisions. And it's very important that to figure out where we can use this kind of hashing in practice. So as ideal hashing do not have collision with them, they should be used in a very static environment. So it should be used in a static problem. For an example, we can consider a dictionary. Dictionary has a data set where the data set is very static. The words in English alphabet doesn't change with time. Maybe in 100 or 200 years we can update a dictionary, but when it comes to a short time period, we won't change any data entries inside a dictionary. So we can use this ideal hashing in a dictionary and elsewhere where the data set is static. And another very important thing is, after you have created the hash table, you can't add more insertions or deletions in the data set. So no insertions or deletions. Now let's talk about steps for ideal hashing. So this ideal hashing procedure can be divided into 2 levels. So this will be the level 1, where all the element in the data set can be included into the hash table, and this will be our level 2, where all the collisions will be omitted by changing the hash table. As a final output, we will get a hash function where there will be no collisions. Thank you so much, guys.